You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. Only in Newsday, a former teacher accused of sexually abusing students took the stand today in a civil trial against the Bayshore School District. 75-year-old Thomas Bernagozzi worked in the district for 3 decades. In this case, the district is accused of failing to protect victims from the alleged abuse. Bernagozzi testified remotely from jail.
His testimony was in stark contrast to everything else we've heard during the first 3 days of the trial, including today, this afternoon, shortly after Mr. Bernagozzi testified. We heard from the plaintiff himself. He's an anonymous plaintiff who had Mr. Bernagozzi as a third-grade teacher in the 1990-91 school year, and he spoke of a time where they went to Jones Beach, and he says Mr. Bernagozzi abused him there. He spoke of times Mr. Bernagozzi abused him at a local health club. He spoke of times he abused him in the classroom. And Mr. Bernagozzi denied all of those allegations, said none of that happened. He did concede that he would occasionally take students to Jones Beach, but said that nothing inappropriate had happened there.
Now you can read more about this story. Go to newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And police right now are investigating a suspicious death at an East End spa. Southampton cops say it happened at the Shoshugibon Wellness Hotel in Watermill. There is no word on how the person died or their identity. Police say there is no immediate danger to the public. And there are 7 competitive congressional races in New York State this year, and 3 of those are right here on Long Island. The 1st District Representative, Republican Nick LaLota, is facing a challenge from Democrat John Avlon. Democrat Tom Suozzi is facing a challenge from Republican Michael LePetri. And the rematch race is in the 4th District between Republican Anthony D'Esposito and Democrat Laura Gillen. Newsday White House correspondent Tom Brune explains why this last race is so important.
This is a kind of a bellwether. It will tell whether Democrats are going to come out and vote fully, as opposed to in 2022, where Republicans had this red wave on Long Island. So a lot of people are looking at it, but also stepping back to the national picture. There is only about 8-member difference between Republicans and Democrats in the House. There's 235 seats, so that's a very, very small margin. And there's a good chance, Democrats believe, that they can take back the House in this session. And the 4th District is a key seat that they need to win in this big national election.
How voters react to these races will also be very important.
In New York, it's such a blue state. A lot of people think, well, my vote is not really going to matter that much because it's going to be a blue state. But in these 7 key races, it really matters. And Republicans have been successful enough to win 10 of the 26 seats in the state, and that's what's at stake. So every one of these 7 races, both parties have a fair shot at winning the race. And so voters should think about that and the overall picture of who's going to control the U.S. House as part of the national elections. It's an important vote for them.
Now read more about the races, candidates, and where to vote in our Voters Guide. Go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And some Long Island voters feel clean water is a critical issue this election. Sherry Einhorn explains what you should know about Proposition 2.
What do we want? Clean water! When do we want it? Now!
Proposition 2 is on the back of the ballot for Suffolk County voters this election. It's about water quality and nitrogen pollution that commonly comes from sewage.
I saw it on the ballot and I think we need clean water, so I said yes, I'll vote for that.
If you vote yes, like Mike, you're saying you want to raise the county portion of the sales tax 1/8 of 1 cent. It'll go up from 8.625% to 8.75%.
What that means is that it's 12 cents for every $100 or 60 cents for every $500 someone might spend. That money goes into a fund. Over 30 years, it's going to add up to $6.1 billion.
Private homeowners can apply for grants to help cover the cost of replacing an old septic tank system. So would you be willing to pay more in sales tax?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay more for clean water.
Municipalities could use the money to expand and upgrade sewer systems. Experts say there are about 20 downtown areas across the county, including right here in Sayville, that would benefit from sewer expansion to attract new businesses.
Really, you need the funding stream from the county to match state and federal dollars to make it a reality. These systems are incredibly expensive.
It's also costly not to clean the water around Long Island, not according to those who make their living on it, like Steve Kuhn.
I've been a clammer for over 55 years on the Great South Bay. I've seen the bay go from what it was to what it is now. Clean water would be good for the Great South Bay. It would be good for everyone.
In Copiague, I'm Shari Einhorn for Newsday TV.
You may notice some spooky signs on Long Island roads this week. The Department of Transportation is reminding drivers to be safe with a Halloween twist. They've been spotted on the Northern State and Sunken Meadow Parkways. There's also this one on the LIE that reads, "No booze allowed. Drive sober." And the Vets 8 concert at UBS Arena has been canceled. The 8th annual concert featuring Joe Walsh, Eric Church, and Post Malone was scheduled for Veterans Day. Organizers say they had to cancel due to, quote, circumstances beyond their control. Ticket holders will be contacted about refunds. Commuters have a new place to sit while waiting for a train at Grand Central Madison. Alfonso Castillo has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
After coming off the longest escalators in the entire MTA system, Grand Central Madison commuters may be looking for somewhere to take a load off. Well, now you've got one.
These benches are awesome. Take advantage.
The Long Island Railroad recently unveiled a new seating area on the mezzanine level of Grand Central Madison, right next to the escalators and stairs leading to the tracks. Until now, LIRR commuters looking to sit down while they waited for their train at Grand Central had few options, other than a waiting room next to the concourse level ticket office. The 28 new aluminum seats were a sight for sore eyes or sore feet for Allison Krieger, who broke her foot about a month ago.
Stayed upstairs a few times, but then you gotta rush to get downstairs, so better to sit down here than upstairs.
The new seating area comes 18 months after the opening of Grand Central Madison. The station is now used by about 80,000 riders daily.
We saw more people than we, in the planning process, anticipated crowding around the escalators directly to the tracks. We saw a need. We put in some seating to deal with it. It's principally for people with mobility challenges.
For now, there are only benches near the waiting area at the bottom of the 47th Street escalators. Asked whether there are plans to add more benches, Lieber said the MTA wants to see how the new seating area is used before deciding what to do next. Merrick commuter Kyle Bullock believes there's room for a lot more benches at Grand Central, but for now he'll take what he can get.
I come here, I'll sit down on the floor and just wait, or you stand and you suffer. And I'm really glad they're here.
In Grand Central Madison, for Newsday TV, I'm Alfonso Castillo.
Now, if you make the commute into the city, there's a place where you can sample food from around the world. The adventures of Scott Vogel continues.
Why do food halls exist? Well, sometimes it's to showcase certain cuisines, a certain price point, or sometimes it's a way to repurpose a historic structure.
And then there's this food hall on Pier 57 in Manhattan's Chelsea, which is openly, unabashedly on a mission.
The dozen or so kiosks at Market 57, which opened last year, were selected with input from the James Beard Foundation, which wanted to highlight restaurants and cafes run by women, minorities, and other groups underrepresented in the culinary industry. First up, Zab Zab for Thai food.
The spicy will make you sweat from your head to your toe.
But not the Thai most of us are familiar with.
Isan is an underserved region is on the northeast of Thailand.
Specialties include lemongrass sausage made with pork and fermented rice.
So good.
And larb, Zab Zab's signature meat salad.
I can see why that's your signature dish. Yeah, that's good, right?
Next up, glizzies.
Do you wear this every day? Nope.
If you're wondering, his partners thought it would be funny if he dressed as a hot dog for our interview.
I had this crazy idea. It's like, I love hot dogs, but where can I get a hot dog? And I was like, I used to get hot dogs growing up. I used to get hot dogs in the corner everywhere from the cart.
But glizzies are not your standard cart dogs.
See what I mean by messy delicious?
Okay, that's enough of messiness. On to simpler fare, but with serious intentions.
The idea sparked from the hope to give job training or job opportunities to people who had barriers to employment. And we decided on coffee after that idea.
Oh, really? So you had the idea first and then the help?
Yes, because the job skills are transferable.
One of their most popular drinks, the Nightingale, a tea and coffee mixture with notes of Earl Grey. Oh, and I also tried a matcha brownie.
Is matcha everywhere now? I mean, is there anything that's not matcha?
And last but not least, the exciting dumplings and noodles at Namwa. This is only the second location of a legendary Chinatown tea parlor that opened way back in 1920.
We want to bring our food to everyone. Our best seller here is the pan fried noodles with chicken.
I knew I was going to love this. I'm coming back here for these. They are good.
As you can see, there's lots of good work going on at Market 57 in more ways than one.
It all looks good. Now, to read more about this story, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. All right, now let's take a look at your fall Long Island weather. Let's check up on Halloween to make sure that we have a nice Thursday. So you can see tonight, you can see we have showers late. Tomorrow we have some showers in the morning to start us off, but those temps are a little more elevated, a little more mild in the 60s. Take a closer look at tomorrow. You can see that we only have those showers again in the morning, then we have clouds and temps in the 60s. As for the 7-day forecast, looking at Thursday, it looks dry. Friday, not so much. Temps in the 70s pretty much for the rest of the week, and then we cool off next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC. Use the Newsday Interactive Voters Guide for easy access to all races and issues across Long Island. Sort elections by location and create your own reference ballot. Get ready for Election Day with the Newsday Voters Guide at newsday.com/votersguide.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Bufa. Thank you so much for joining us.